This is a chainsaw, and in the wrong hands it can do some real damage to yourself and your limbs. Kinda like hiring the wrong contractor. Before anyone takes a bite out of your wallet, let's talk about how to choose the right one. Ladies, when you live alone, you are the CEO of your own home. You decide who works on it, who comes in, who gets paid. And let me tell you, hiring the wrong contractor can cost you time, money, and nerves. And some contractors see a solo woman as an easy target. I've seen it all. Now, that's not to say that all contractors are like that. In fact, the majority of them are good contractors. But you're always got to beware of the one that's going to come in and take advantage of you by cutting corners, asking for money up front, and just treating you like you're stupid. So today I'm going to give you some simple steps on how to hire a legitimate contractor, how to weed out the bad ones, and how to hire the good ones. Number one, check for references. There's a thing called Google. Use it. Type in their name, their company name, and find out what the reviews are. A lot of these contractors have a Facebook page, they have a YouTube channel, they're on Instagram, or they're on TikTok, and they have before and after pictures. And make sure that those pictures are recent pictures, not ones from 10 years ago. Also ask around, did your neighbors hire these guys? Ask what they thought of them. Would they rehire them to do another job? Ask your friends and ask anybody else who has hired them. Word of mouth is the best form of advertising. It's the best reference you're going to get. Question number 2, do they have employees? Now, why does this matter? Well, if a contractor tells you it's just them, that can be fine for small jobs like fixing a fence post, replacing a sink, just doing small repairs around the house. But if they're promising to remodel your entire kitchen in 3 weeks, and it's just them and their cousin who happens to help out sometimes, you might be eating microwave dinners for a long time. Here's the thing. A contractor with employees usually has a regular crew they know and trust. They show up, they know the job, and they're covered under the contractor's insurance, which we'll get to a little bit later. But if your contractor uses random day laborers or subcontractors that they found on Facebook Marketplace that morning, well, let's just say you're rolling the dice. Okay, number 3, money down. The big money down question. And this is where most people get burnt. It's not uncommon on big jobs to ask for a small deposit or maybe 10% down or 30% down, but definitely not the whole thing up front. That is a red flag. Bing, bing, bing. You should be aware of that. If the contractor wants you to put all the money down up front, don't sign a contract and tell them to get out, because that is a big, huge red flag. If you learn anything from this video, it's that. Also, if they ask for more than 50% down before they even start the job, and I don't care how big the job is, I would not do that. I mean, they'll get the money and they're going to run. You're going to be paying for their next fishing trip or something. Do not do that. Now, I know that it's not uncommon either for to pay money incrementally as the job progresses. Like some contractors, 25% of the job done, they want 25% of the payment. That's not uncommon. I don't have a problem with that, because at that point they've done work, so it's legitimate. But where you get into the real problem is when they're constantly asking for money, or they want a big chunk of money at one time. That is a huge red flag. In those cases, they're probably going to take your money and skedaddle. You're not going to see them again. Believe me, I have learned my lesson on this one. A few years back, we had a big storm roll into this area, and it did some major damage to the homes around here. Major damage to roofs and everything. So all of a sudden, the whole area was swarming with contractors wanting to fix roofs and wanting to trim trees and make repairs. Well, I, like everybody else, had a repair that had to be done. My back porch, at the time it was an open air back porch, and the roof of it flew off in the storm, plus some other damage to it. So I had to hire a contractor to fix it. So I called around and I ended up hiring a contractor who was referred to by my friend. She gave him glowing remarks, and he had fixed her roof, and she said that he did a great job. So he came over, he seemed legitimate, knew what he was talking about, or so it seemed. He had a contract. I hired him. Now, with the back porch, what I decided to do, instead of repairing just the roof on it, at that point, I had been wanting to enclose the whole entire back porch. So I thought, well, as long as he's repairing the roof, I'm just going to have him enclose the whole thing. So, and that would entail enclosing it with windows. So it's like a four-season room. So the whole 3 walls would be windows. So he wanted money up front to purchase the windows. And like a dummy, I paid him. It was a big chunk. I don't know why. I paid him though. To make a long story short, let's just say I got stiffed. Okay. The contractor, he would come here every now and again. He would do a little bit of work. He would run off. As soon as I turned my back, he'd be out the door. And it turns out that one day I asked him where he purchased the windows, and he named a place about 15 miles away from me, a window place. And so I picked up my phone and I started to call the window place right in front of him. We were standing outside by his truck. As soon as I did that, he got in his truck and he drove away as I'm calling the place. So I knew there was going to be a major problem with that, okay? So I get the window place on the phone. Turns out he never ordered the windows. Nobody ever ordered the windows. They didn't have any kind of order like that. He already had my money, by the way. So at that point, I knew I was, yeah. I had a big problem on my hands. So let my huge mistake be a learning lesson to you all out there. Do not give a contractor a big chunk of money up front. No, don't do it. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, point number 5 is communication. And this is an important one. You must be able to get a hold of your contractor. Now, if you call the contractor, they may have a voicemail set up that says that they're going to get a hold of you within 24 hours, which is fine. Contractors are busy. A lot of contractors these days text message. I know I've had this experience. The good ones will text you when they're on their way. They'll text you if they're running late. They'll text you with any concerns or anything like that. And I really like that form of communication, actually. Now, the bad ones, the ones that don't like to communicate, they kind of like just ghost you. So they don't want to hear from you. So the big takeaway with communication is if you can't get a hold of them before they start the job, they're not magically going to get better after they start the job. So as you're communicating before you hire them, that's a sure sign of how they're going to communicate after they start the job. And that's all you need to know. Okay, onward. Point number 6 is insurance. And this is another really important one. The contractor must have insurance. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The small little do-it-yourselfers who are just doing a day job, I really don't expect them to pull out an insurance certificate. But if you're doing a heavy remodel or something that requires them to get up on your roof or up on ladders or anything, have them show you a certificate of insurance. And by that, I mean liability insurance, which covers damage to your house or property, and workers' compensation insurance, which covers injuries in case one of their workers gets hurt. If they don't provide this, then if something happens, who's going to be on the hook? You. And you don't want that to happen. Now, I did have an instance happen to me with a tree trimmer who came to my house, and he was trimming some branches from a tree, a big tall tree, a black oak tree, um, on the corner of my yard and very close to my neighbor's house. I live in a regular neighborhood, and the houses are fairly close together. He was trimming a tree branch and it fell on my neighbor's house and damaged their gutters. Now, I didn't see this happen, but there was no doubt that the tree limb falling caused the damage to their gutters. When I asked him about it, he denied it. He said, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do any damage." It was really obvious that it was because the tree trimmer, when he was trimming the branch, fell on my neighbor's gutters and damaged it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, and unfortunately, it was a contractor where I did not ask him for a certificate of insurance before he started working. So, guess who was on the hook for paying for my neighbor's gutters? Me. Okay? Especially if you're a good neighbor, you're going to pay for their damage. Okay? So, let that be a learning lesson. My mistake, again, is a learning lesson for you. And here's a little side note. That same contractor who did that damage came back a year later, knocked on my door, and wanted to know if I had any trees that I wanted trimmed. And I stepped outside the door and I looked at him and I said, "Are you kidding me? You don't remember last time you were here how you damaged my neighbor's house and their gutters and you never paid for it? You don't remember that?" Crickets from him. He just looked at me with a blank stare like I was from Mars. Anyway, I shooed him off my property. I said, "Get out of town." I said, "I told the whole neighborhood about you too. So bye." Lesson learned. Onward and upward. Okay, number 7 is an online presence. Before you hire a contractor, you should check to see if they have an online presence of some sort. This day and age, it's very common for a contractor to have some kind of online presence, whether it be Facebook, a website, Instagram, TikTok, something to that effect, where they show their before and after photos. They have customer reviews on there. They have customer questions. So you want to check and see if they have some kind of online presence, and also see if they respond to the online presence. If people are asking questions, you want to make sure that they are responding to that. Now, it's not, I guess for some contractors, some are old school and they don't do online things, but I find that very rare, especially with the online sites. You can, it's advertising, so you want to advertise how good your work is, unless you're a bad contractor or you do crappy work. Then I guess you wouldn't advertise it. But I would definitely check the online presence. That's a no-brainer. Number 8, multiple estimates before you start a job, especially a big job. Not so much for the smaller jobs, but it's still a good idea on the smaller jobs as well. Get multiple estimates so you know what kind of price range you're dealing with. I mean, one estimate might sound really good until you get the second estimate that sounds even better. So I would get at least 3 estimates when you're talking about a large job: kitchen remodel, bathroom remodel, roofing repairs, something like that, tree trimmers. So for instance, I recently did a bathroom remodel and I called in, I think, 3 or 4 contractors to get estimates on it. Um, and they were all pretty good. The first one I thought was good until I got to the second one. The second one was good until I got to the third. The third one was really good. And I'll tell you why the third one was really good. He came in very prepared. He came in with a briefcase full of samples and photographs of previous work. He knew his stuff. He knew exactly how he was going to do the job because I had a lot of questions for him. And he was able to answer every single one of those questions. He showed me his insurance, and he worked for a small company in the area who contracts under Lowe's and Menards and a few other places that does bathroom remodels. But this guy was really prepared. The other thing is, though, he was higher than most of them. But in my experience, the lowest estimate isn't necessarily the best estimate or the best one to hire because you get what you pay for. If someone comes in and says, yeah, I'm going to do your bathroom remodel for $2,000, what are they going to do for $2,000? You know, what kind of work are they going to really do for that amount of money? So you want to do your homework and call around, get some estimates, take your time. You know, uh, especially take your time getting the estimates and really talk with the people and write down all your questions, write down all your answers, keep track, who you talk to, what price did they give you, and see if they get back to you. Because a good contractor or salesperson representing the contractor will call you in a few days and say, hey, what did you think? I've had people come in here and give me a bid and then I never hear from them again. And I'm wondering, if I was them, I would have called back and said, hey, what did you think? You know, do you have any other questions, etc. So take your time, get the estimates. Okay, number 9 is another important point. I guess these are all important points. But I would have to put this as a very, very, very important point. Get it all in writing, okay? When you hire a contractor, make sure they spell out all the details in writing, when they're going to start, when they expect to finish, uh, any warranties that are involved, uh, all the details. You want it all in writing before you start the job and before you sign the contract. You don't want to have any guesswork. Uh, this protects you and it protects them, so get it all in writing. Easy peasy. And the final point I'll have to say, which pretty much sums everything up, is trust your gut. Uh, if you're talking with a contractor and you're not feeling it, he's giving you some pretty weird vibes, you don't think that he's being straight with you, or he can't answer the simple questions, or he's dodging a lot of details, or uh, things don't seem a little kosher. I would say trust your gut and move on because your gut never lies. We all know that. We didn't get to be our age and not understand. Always trust your gut. Hey, this is Kathy from Alone Nest. Thanks for watching my channel and my video. And please subscribe. I need subscribers. And if you have any comments as far as what experiences you've had with contractors, the ins and outs, tips, whatever, or experiences, please comment, like, share, and whatever. But thank you so much. Have a good one.